Let's continue with it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So let's say the first question. The first question is, a sphere of diameter 18 centimeter is dropped into a cylindrical vessel of diameter 36 centimeter, which was partly filled with water. If the sphere is completely submerged, then calculate the rise in level of water. Okay, so let's understand the question at first and then we will be solving it. Here the question says a sphere of diameter 18 centimeter. So diameter of the sphere is 18 centimeter is dropped into a cylindrical vessel. So there is a cylindrical vessel. In that we are dropping a sphere. Okay. Now cylindrical vessel is having diameter 36 centimeter. All right. This is having diameter 36 centimeter and this sphere was having diameter. This was having diameter 18 centimeter. And the cylindrical vessel was partly filled with water. If the sphere is completely submerged, then calculate the rise in level of water. Any idea how to do this? Anyone from here?
Volume increase is equal to the volume of the sphere.
Volume of?
If the water inside is increasing, the water increased is equal to the volume of the sphere.
Exactly. Volume of water increased will be equals to the volume of a sphere. Because once you will drop the sphere, a sphere will occupy volume and that will be equals to the volume of the water which is rising. So you can understand this one like this. Suppose you are having a cylinder. Previously the water level was, let's say, this much was the water level. Now, since you are dropping the sphere in it, now the water level is going from here to here. Okay. Now the water level is coming from this much. Like from the blue portion, this much water level is rising. So what you will be saying that whatever is the rise in water level, whatever is the volume which is rising in the cylinder, that volume is equals to the volume of the sphere. Okay. And we are only going to focus on this part, that this part volume this much volume which is rising actually, that is equals to the volume of the sphere. Everyone is getting that? So volume rising in the cylinder, which is just another cylinder only. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is equals to volume of the sphere. So once you will drop the sphere, it will occupy volume. That volume level only will be rising in the cylinder. So now in cylinder, this much volume is rising. You can understand that now in cylinder, this much volume is rising. That is also a cylinder only. Okay. That's why we are saying that volume of cylinder is equals to volume of a sphere. That means like we are saying according to the concept that volume of this much water level which is rising in the cylinder, this teeny tiny cylinder which I have drawn on the screen, the red one, that volume is equals to the volume of the sphere, and that volume will be equals to the same cylindrical volume formula. That is, what is the formula for volume of the cylinder? Pi. What's the formula? Anyone? Formula for volume of the cylinder is pi r square h, right? Do you know that? Everyone, volume of the cylinder's formula is? Yes, Kiran, Samina, Jesleen.
I r square h.
Yes, exactly. It's pi r square h. Okay. So we are saying pi r square h is equals to volume of the sphere. What is the formula for volume of the sphere?
4
Yeah,
by 3 pi
r.
r cube.
This is what we are writing, that volume of the cylinder is equals to volume of the sphere. We are not talking about the total volume of the cylinder. We are talking about the volume in through which the water is rising. That much cylindrical parts volume we are taking. Since it's a cylinder, so wherever you will be taking, the radius will be same. Okay. So here if the diameter is 36, here also diameter will be 36. Here also diameter will be 36. Here also diameter will be 36. That's why the radius will be 36 by 2. That means 2 1 times 2, 2 8 times 8. Radius will be 18. So even if you are going to find this cylinder's volume, here the volume of that red cylinder will be pi r square. Radius is same throughout the cylindrical shape. That radius will be 18 square, and height, let's say that height is h, because we don't know what's that height, how much water is rising, we are not sure about that. Okay, so pi 18 square into h. H we don't know. H is not the total height of the cylinder. Is equals to 4 by 3 pi r cube. R for the sphere is already given. The diameter of the sphere is 18 centimeter. So we will be substituting. This is the diameter. We will be taking the radius, that is 18 over 2, that means 9 centimeter. All right, 9 cube we will be taking, and from here we will be getting the value of h. That means let's see the question. Calculate the rise in water level. Calculate the rise in water level. That the h which we have got from here, that is rise in water level. That is not the total height of the cylinder. Got it? Clear to everybody? The h which you will be able to calculate from here. I'm talking about that h into 9 cube divided by 18 square. Okay, this h. Clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next question is find the number of solid sphere each of diameter 6 centimeter that can be made by melting a solid metal cylinder of height 45 centimeter and diameter 4 centimeter. What can be done? Find the number of solid sphere, each of the diameter 6 centimeter that can be made by melting a solid metal cylinder. We are having a cylinder, we are melting it and making spheres. How many spheres? Don't know. Okay, maybe n spheres we are making. So we have to find the number of spheres only. Yeah. What can be done over here? Any idea? Yeah, this is very simple. Who is going to tell what to do over here? We are melting a bigger cylinder and just the material which we are getting from there, out of that we are getting smaller spheres. So we have to find how many sphere we can make it. What to do over here? So basically we are melting it down. That means we ended up having the material, that means volume of this cylinder. Volume of cylinder, whatever material you are having, that means it just came from the volume of the cylinder that you are going to use for making the spheres. That will be used for making the volume of spheres. How many spheres are there? So maybe n spheres are there. Getting it? Whenever we are having one shape and we are going to recast it into another shape, that means the first shape's volume we are using to make the another shape. First shape's volume will be equals to the another shape's volume. If I am showing you a figure over here, let's say this is a cylindrical shape. I am going to melt it down. Okay, I am going to melt it down and I am going to make a cuboid out of it. Let's say this copy, it's a cuboid. Okay, so I am melting it down to make this one. So volume of this one will be equals to volume of this one. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
So here also we are going to use the same concept, that we are melting a cylinder, but with that material we are making smaller spheres. How many spheres? We don't know. So that's why I have written on the screen that volume of the cylinder is equals to volume of n spheres. N into volume of spheres, you can say, or you can also say volume of n spheres. Volume of n, one sphere, we know the formula is 4 by 3 pi r cube. We are thinking that let's say there is n spheres because we don't know how many spheres are there. And in mathematics, whenever we don't know anything, we assume it as x, y, n, any variable. So we have taken, let's say n spheres are there. Okay. Now this must be equals to the volume of the cylinder which we have melted to recast. So volume of the cylinder will be pi r square h. Do we know all the values? So find the number of solid sphere, each of diameter. The diameter of the solid sphere is 6 centimeter. So the radius of the sphere will be 3 centimeter, right? And has to be there, is equals to volume of the cylinder. So, do we know everything about the cylinder, the height and the radius? Yes, we know the height of the cylinder. Yes, we know the diameter of the cylindrical vessel also. So, yes, we know all the informations over here. 4 diameter was 4 centimeter. That means radius is 4 by 2. 2 square and height is given as 45. Now from here we have to find the value of n. That means how many spheres were there. How many sphere we can make of this radius, the given radius that is 3 centimeter. Or how many sphere we can make of diameter, it was 6 centimeter, right? Yeah. How many sphere we can make of each of 6 centimeter. We are having a cylinder, we are melting it down. Once we are getting the material, we are using that material to make the sphere. Sphere, 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 each of diameter 6 centimeter. Here also diameter 6 centimeter. Here also diameter 6 centimeter. One more sphere of diameter 6 centimeter. How many sphere? We don't know. That's why we are taking that, let's say n spheres are there, which is possible to make out of the material which we are having in hand. That's why we are saying that volume of that one is equals to n into volume of the sphere, because n spheres are there. Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Let's move ahead. A solid right circular cone is cut into two parts. At the middle of its height by a plane parallel to its base. Find the ratio of the volume of the smaller cone to the whole cone. We have to find the ratio of volume of the smaller cone to the volume of the bigger cone. It says a solid right circular cone. So this is a right circular cone. Is cut into two parts. We are cutting this cone into two parts at the middle of its height. So we are cutting it. Yeah. So we are cutting this cone from the middle as written in the question, that cutting into two part at the middle of its height by a plane parallel to its base. Yesterday only I was telling we can cut it like this, by a plane parallel to its base. Okay. Find the ratio of volume of a smaller cone. Once you will be cutting from here, let's say from here, you will be getting one more cone, as you can see over here. Can you see two cones over here? This is one of the cone. And what's the next cone? The total, the bigger cone. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
It says find the volume of a smaller cone and the whole cone. Ratio we have to find. How to do it? What will be the volume of a smaller cone? What's the volume formula for cone? First thing first. Volume of the cone's formula is
1/3 by R cube.
1 by 3 pi r square h. The volume of a cone is 1/3 of the volume of the cylinder. That's why the formula for volume of the cone is 1 by 3 pi r square h. Everybody knows this formula? Do you know this formula?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to find the volume of the smaller cone, volume of the bigger cone, and we have to take the ratio of that, smaller to bigger. Okay? Is it okay? So what will be the volume of the smaller cone? 1 by 3 pi r square h. Read the question carefully and tell me what is the like hint which is given in the question, which will help us to proceed from here, or the key point which is given in the question. Take a moment and read the question, each and every one. Okay? And do let me know which key point is given over here. No idea? Here, one thing we must know, we must here first just see the question. A solid right circular cone is cut into two parts at the middle of its height. Can you see it? If the total height was h, then we are cutting it from the middle of the height, right? If the total height of this cone, if this total height is h, then this much, the green one, this much height will be h by 2. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. It is given in the question itself that we are cutting it at the middle of the height. Now, what else? Here, we also need to know the radius of this smaller cone, because it is not a cylinder. Here, throughout the cylindrical vessel, the radius was same. How can we get the shape of cylinder? You will place one bangle, on that you will place another bangle of same size, another bangle, another bangle, another bangle. You will end up having a cylindrical shape, right? When you are placing same size bangles, that means throughout the cylindrical vessel the radius was same. But here, if you will focus on this cone, if you will focus on this cone, here you can see the radius is decreasing. Okay, Here the radius is lesser. Here also it's lesser. Here it's lesser. So radius is continuously decreasing. Can you see it? This
Yes,
is the conical shape. So if we are saying that bigger cone is having the radius r, then we cannot say the smaller cone is also having the radius r. Here we need to know one relation, that it is, here we will be having a similar triangle. Whenever we cut, whenever we are having a cone like this, and when you are cutting parallel to base and getting one more cone, then this height and this is the radius. This is the height, this is the radius. For the bigger one, for the bigger one, this is the height and this is the radius. Both height and radius for the bigger one and the smaller one is different. Okay, so if I am drawing the smaller cone like this, only that part, the smaller part, H, R, and if we will be drawing the bigger triangle, the way we take the triangle for using, for taking out the slant height, for the way we use for the way we use Pythagoras theorem for taking out the slant height, same way I am taking the triangle, the smaller triangle and the bigger triangle. Here I am saying that this is H1R1 and this is H2R2. These two triangles are similar triangle. Have you done the concept of similar triangle in triangle chapter? Have you? Here 90 degree, here 90 degree. Here whatever angle is there, here same angle is there. So angle criteria, similarity criteria can give us that these two triangles are similar triangle, yes or no? Yes or no?
yes,
So we can say that height 1 by height 2, this 2 ratio must be equals to radius 1 by radius 2. Side will be in proportion with each other, right? Are you getting it? So if height 1, that is the smaller height, is h by 2, bigger height is h, then what will be the ratio of radius 1 and radius 2? Let's see from here. If you are not getting, please tell me. I'll be explaining it again. Because you have already done the concept of similar triangle, I'm just moving ahead with this. Okay. So h by 2 by h is equals to r1, r2. We don't know the relation. h1, h2, how we know the relation? Because it is written in the question. The yellow part says that at the middle of the height, we are cutting it. So if the total height is h, the smaller one's height will be h by 2. If the total height is 10 centimeter, the smaller one's height will be half of that. That means 5 centimeter. If the total height is 20 centimeter, the smaller one will be half of that. That means 10 centimeter. Because we are cutting from the half only. Okay. That's why we are taking the total height h2 as a h and h1 as a h by 2. Okay. So this is what we are getting from here, is equals to r1 by r2. Let's see what are we getting r1 by r2. We are getting r1 by r2 as a h and h will cancel out each other. 1 by 2. Can you see it? So the ratio between r1 and r2 is also 1 by 2. The ratio between h1 and h2 is also 1 by 2. Okay. Now what we have to find here? We have to find the ratio of volume of a smaller cone, volume of whole cone. Let's find it. Volume of smaller cone divided by volume of whole cone. I am saying the volume, the whole cone is having height h 1 by 3 pi r square, radius I am taking r only, and h we are taking as it is. What is the volume of the smaller cone? Again the same formula. because it's a cone only. Pi. R will be half of the previous R as we have found. Can you see?
Yes.
R2. Wait. R2 is equals to half of R1. Can you see? R2 is what? Or we can say here. Yeah. So the bigger radius is half of the smaller radius. The bigger height is, wait, 2 times it will be. Just a moment. R2 is equals to, from here we will be getting, when we will do crisscross, 2 times R1. Okay. Or we can say R1 is equals to 1 by 2 R2. This is what we can say. Either this one or this one. That means basically we are trying to say whatever is this radius. If this is total is R, then this will be half of that, R by 2. If this total height is H, then this much height will be half of that, H by 2. Okay, that's what we are trying to say. How? I have shown you by the similar triangle concept. How we have taken the height is already mentioned in the question. Okay, so accordingly we are using the condition. For the smaller cone, 1/3 pi r square. Now here radius is the smaller half radius of the previous one. Height is the half of the previous one. Is it clear to everyone? I'm talking about only this part because this is the main thing. Now we are going to do the calculation over here. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's do the calculation. We will be having 1 by 3 gone, 1 by 3 pi. Upper one will be r square by 4 into h by 2. Here we will be having r square into h, r square gone, h gone. We ended up getting 1 by 8. Can you see it? Getting? Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how we will be taking out the ratio even if no information is given. What is the height? What is the radius? No extra information is given over here. Still we will be able to find it because we know there is a relation between height and between the radius also. We can use the same relation because here we are having the similar triangle. Okay. Now let's move ahead. An ice cream seller sells his ice cream in two ways. One of the ways in a cone of radius 5 centimeter, height 8 centimeter, or the other ways in a cup in shape of cylinder with radius 5, height 8 centimeter. Just a moment. Yeah. Now he charges the same price for both, but prefers to sell his ice cream in a cone. Find the volume of cone and the cup which out of the two has more capacity. Read it and tell me whether this question is tricky one or very simple question. Take your time, take a moment and read this question. Once you will be done with reading this much, tell me. I will be just sliding downward and you have to read the next part also. So read it carefully and do let me know whether this is very simple question or it's like some we have to do apply any trick over here. Everybody please do read it. So ice cream seller is selling his ice cream in two ways, in a cone and a cup. The dimension of the cone is given, dimension of the cup is given. For your better understanding, I'm going to draw the figure downward. So he is selling in a cone and a cup. The dimension of the cone is given. Let me write radius 5 centimeter, height 8 centimeter. Here radius 5 centimeter, height 8 centimeter. Now read the next part. Like from there, like he charges the same price or not. From here only you have to now read it and you have to tell me how we will be proceeding over here. Anyone? Any idea how to do? Any idea? Jasleen, Sabina, Kiran, Madiha is also there. Yes, Madiha. One by one, please tell me how to do this one. Will you be able to take out the volume of the cone and the cup separately? Is it possible?
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
possible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's very simple because both the measurement is clearly given. Whatever we need for finding the volume, that is clearly given. So that is very simple. Now the next part is asked which out of the two has more capacity. So whichever is having more volume, that is having more capacity, right? Right?
Yes.
This is very basic question where only the information is given and is asking us to find the volume only. No need to think about anything over here. Okay, which is having more capacity, so whichever's volume is more, that will be having more capacity. Now if you understand the figure, if you know the formula, like clearly if you have learned the formula, here you can see radius is 5, height is z, h. Here is also radius 5, height is s. Height is 8. So both are same. What you have to do here, you have to find the volume of the first one, volume of the second one separately, just by using the volume formula of the cone and the cylinder. And the whoever's like whichever's volume will be more, that is having more capacity. That's it. That much you have to do in this question. Now, for your understanding, I am telling you the formula for volume came from, we are having a cylinder, okay, and the volume formula is, volume formula actually came from area into height, okay. So this cylinder we have made with the help of a rectangular sheet where length was L, breadth was B, okay. We have folded it and we made a cylinder out of it. Once we have folded it, this is the rectangular sheet you can see over here. This is the rectangular sheet. We have folded it and we got the shape of cylinder. Can you see it? Can you see a rectangular sheet and folding and getting a cylinder out of it?
Yes, ma'am.
So basically this part is the length and this part is the breadth. So length, once you will fold it, you will see here length is getting utilized and it is now working as the circumference of the circle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And uh, yeah, length is working as that way you will be you will end up getting the surface area. Here we are talking about the volume. So basically volume means, volume you came from the formula of area into height. Area means the circle which we are getting, that circle area, that is pi r square, and height is h. From here only we got the volume of the cylinder. Now from where we got the volume of the cone, so once you will be having a cone of the same radius and the same dimension, same height, and you will be pouring the cone with the, like if you are going to pour the this conical vessel with sand, and you are going to fill, you are going to drop the sand in this cylindrical vessel, this one. If you are going to take if you, I am saying that if you are going to take a cone, filling it with sand, going to drop it into a cylinder, again going to fill the cone with the sand, going to drop it into the same cylinder, again you will be filling the cone with the sand and going to drop it into the same cylinder. 3 times you will be doing the same process, and then you will figure it out, okay, now the cylindrical vessel is completely full. That's why the volume formula for the cone is, volume of the cone is 1/3 of the volume of the cylinder. From here only the volume came out. So when this is just the formula part, we are not discussing about the previous question. Previous question is over. Okay, this is just the formula part. I wanted to show you in something in the previous question. That means I wanted to show you that he charges same price for both but prefers to sell his ice cream in a cone, because cone will occupy less volume, right? Cone is having less volume when the radius and the height is same. Now only you have seen 3 times we are filling the cone, and then only we are able to fill the cylinder. So cone will occupy less ice cream. Cone, just cone, softy cone will contain less ice cream. Obviously shopkeeper prefers cone only because he want to sell less in a same price, right? Right? Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is what happening over here. Okay. Now even here also, if it is asking which out of the two has more capacity, and if you don't want to find the capacity, you can say that's obviously if both the radius and height is same, then cylinder is having more capacity, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This concept came from the formula only. However, for this question, which is a very easy question, simple question, which you can just solve it by using the formula, and then you can say that this volume formula you can apply, and then you can check which one is having more volume. That is only having the more capacity. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, let me write the question. Due to sudden flood, some welfare association jointly requested the government to get 100 tents fixed immediately and offered to contribute 50% of the cost. If the lower part of each tent is of the form of cylinder of diameter 4.2 centimeter and height 4 meter with conical upper of same diameter but of height 2.8 meter, and the canvas used cost 100 per meter square. 100 per meter square. Find the amount of find the amount the association will have to pay. Read it and tell me whether it is a tricky question due to the length of the question. Do you feel that it's like it will take a lot of time, or once only you are just reading it and it's just very simple question just like the previous one? It is very simple question, let me tell you, just like the previous one only. Okay, just because of this much lengthy statement, student will feel like this is tough question. Okay, let's skip that. But once you will read it, you will be able to understand this question is the very simple question. Yesterday only we have done this type of question. So if you will see, let's do it together. Let's read it together and discuss what exactly we need to do over here. Okay, so due to sudden flood, some welfare association jointly requested the government to get 100 tent. How many tent? 100 tent. Fix immediately and offer a contribute of 50% of the cost. Okay, 50% of the cost, total cost will be contributed. Okay, if the lower part of each tent, now let's see how exactly tent looks like. So lower part of the tent is the cylinder of diameter is given, and this height is given with conical upper part. Yesterday only we were doing one tent question where the lower part was cylinder and upper part was a cone. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And the canvas used cost 100 per meter square. That means we have to find the total area of this tent, right? Total area of the tent. Yesterday only we have discussed when the tent looks like this. Then the canvas used means total area. Area, surface area, curve surface area of this one and curve surface area of this one. Curve surface area of this one formula is 2 pi rh. Surface area of this one formula is pi rl. Once we will be adding 2 pi rh plus pi rl, we will be getting the total area of the canvas used or the tent, we can say. Right? Yesterday only we have discussed that. That's what it says. Here, do we know all the information about the height of the cylinder, the radius of the cylinder, the slant height of the conical vessel, conical tent? So let's see whether we know everything or not. So height of the cylinder is given as 4 meter. Okay, the diameter of the cylinder is also given. That means radius and height of the cylinder is given with the conical upper part with same diameter. Cone is also having the same diameter just like the cylinder one, and the height is given. So when the height and diameter is given for the cone, slant height we will be able to take out by Pythagoras theorem, right? And the cost of 100 per cost is 100 rupees per meter square. Okay, 100 rupees cost is for 1 meter square. So whatever area is used for the canvas, we will be finding for that much meter square what is the total cost, right? Yes or no? Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now how many tents are there? 100 tents are there. So again we need to find what is the total cost for making 100 such tents. Okay, so better you first find the area of one of the tent like this 2 pi rh plus pi rl. Let's do it. Area of one of the tent will be 2 pi r is radius. Diameter of the cylinder is 4.2. So radius will be 4.2 by 2. Height is 4 meter. Pi r radius is same like the cylinder. That means here also 4.2 by 2. And L we don't have, but height we know. Height is 2.8 meter and radius is 4.2 by 2. That is 2.1. L square is equals to h square plus r square. We will be doing it 2.1 square plus 2.8 square. It will take some time to do the calculation. Okay, so let me explain you what you will be getting. Here you will be getting the area of one tent. Then you have to find the total area or total canvas required for 100 such tents. Okay, whatever you have got over here, definitely for 100 tent you have to multiply that with 100. Okay, that is the total area. Now 1 meter square cost is 100 rupees. So whatever meter square you have got over here, that much meter square cost you have to find. Okay? Getting it? Are you getting?
Yes,
Everyone?
sure.
Yes, ma'am.
And what the question says? The question says, due to sudden floods, some welfare association jointly requested the government to get 110 fixed immediately and offered to contribute 50% of the cost. So whatever you have found the total cost, that costs 50% will be funded. Okay? Find the amount the association will have to pay. The welfare association will fund 50% of the cost. So whatever cost you have calculated over here, the total cost, 50% of this cost will be funded by welfare association, and that will be our answer. Are you getting it? Once you will start doing the multiplication with 100 and 100, it will not take time. Only this calculation, the first calculation will take time when you are having decimals over here. Okay? Once you have to multiply one time by 100, again you will be multiplying by 100 because the price is also 100, and then you will be just finding